Hey YouTube, recently we've been talking about various ways to carry small gear. It could be through pouches. We've talked about organizers, but what happens if you want something smaller than an organizer? So we've been talking about wallets as well, even carrying a spare wallet and just using that spare wallet to hold whatever that gear is for survival purposes or just for general preparedness. Now, I put together a small list here of things that I would find more important than other gear. This is not to say that this list is comprehensive, but it is for me in my area. So you have to kind of just use this more so as a means of brainstorming. So let's go ahead and jump in there. Things in my area. I live in a pretty temperate region of the world. So it doesn't get like super cold typically, and super hot. I mean, there are days that it has gotten very cold and very hot, but more so than not, it's a pretty pleasant environment where I live. And so now this is really going to be specifically for a wallet kit system. And this, in my opinion, would be, either for survival or general preparedness. But I'd have to start out as having some means of fire making. That to me would be very important. The spark light is something that I would put probably in my kit, and with some Tinder Quick. If you're not familiar with those products, basically it's just a spark wheel and some means of tinder. But you may want to put in a small mini Bic lighter, a small ferrocerium rod and striker. Maybe you have another means. Maybe you're really good at making fire with Fresnel lens or whatnot. So a means to make fire. The next would be water purification. Now, if you can find a small enough bag to put water in, that's even a bonus. I would probably do that as well. As much as I'm against water purification tablets, I don't like chlorine at all. I think in this situation, a couple chlorine tablets or the water purification tablets that are available in your area would probably be better than nothing. The next would be first aid. It's very hard to get much in a wallet, even an oversized wallet. So I think that I would probably just settle, and of course your mileage may vary, maybe you need more than this, but some BandAids and some pain medicine. And I'd pick those BandAids that has the triple antibiotic ointment built into them. Signaling, I'd have probably a flat whistle. There's different brands, like Fox 40 has one. Maybe a signal mirror as well. And I was debating on what kind of signal mirror. They had the micro signal mirrors, and then they also had the dog tag signal mirrors. I guess it just depends on which one I had available to me. The repair, probably a few feet of Gorilla Tape or duct tape at a minimum. Some safety pins, probably no less than 2. I'd probably try to go with stainless steel safety pins. And I'd probably go with a few feet, if not 5 or more feet of dental floss. Some of the strongest, nylon-based dental floss. Believe it or not, the dental floss is what's actually holding this structure together, this small shelter. And I've lost track of how many weeks now it's been holding up. So obviously it's not bad material to work with, especially for short-term use. Lighting or illumination. Basically, you could put some matches in there, but they don't last very long. And if the wind's really horrendous, they're going to go out. So probably a micro keychain light. And they have some very flat ones, very small. Photon lights is a good example. But there's just different kinds depending on your preference. For navigation, maybe a very small copy of a map of your area and, the best quality button compass that you can afford or find. Now, tools. Now, this is the one that's the hardest because there's so many different choices. You have, for some people, maybe you'd want to do some type of hunting, maybe. So they have like various types of arrowheads. You also have the really small Victorinox Classic SD that's available that could fit in a wallet pretty easily. Folding razor blade knives. They have some very small ones that are super thin. You also have credit card tools. And if you watched my last video, which was that slideshow, you would have seen a lot of options that were available now and have been for a while in terms of things that can fit in a standard credit card slot in your wallet. It's actually pretty amazing, the choices now available. Now, cash, I think even though this isn't like your main wallet, maybe some emergency cash could be put in there. In hygiene, they have those very small moist towelettes, maybe 1 or 2 in there. This is a bonus items here. Well, these following items are maybe not critical, but depending on where you live, you may want to have some fishing hooks and other different types of tackle. And it doesn't have to be very much, maybe just like 2 fishing hooks, just a little bit of fishing line, maybe a sinker or 2, something like that. Nothing really over the top. You may want a handcuff key. They have some very small handcuff keys now. I mean very small, smaller than most buttons. You may want a Ranger band to go around the outside of your wallet, a P38 can opener, a folding hacksaw blade type of tool. You may want a non-lubricated condom for the purposes of putting water in there, or maybe storing, berries or other food that you may find. But in particular for water, it's amazing how much water you can put in a condom. A lot of people don't think of that. It's been around for a long time. I know a lot of special forces use this technique. So if you can't find a plastic bag that suits your needs, you may want to consider, a condom. Probably, the clear condoms are going to be better than those that may be darker, just for the fact that if you ever had to use it to direct or focus light to be, used as a fire starter, that would be an option. A little piece of paper. It could just be 1 or 2 sheets off of a notepad. And maybe like a cut down pencil, or even they have those micro pencils now too. And lastly, I'd say a mini pry bar. They've got some really small pry bars, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches. You may say, well, how useful really is that going to be? Not crazy useful, but you may get what you need done with something like that. Just depends on the things you do. So there's my list. Stay tuned for future videos. Thanks for your support, and I'll catch you later.